formal proof is written by writing down first what you know and then substituting those values in for the quantities that you're trying to determine. So we know the following. From the last video, we have the sine of the sum of two angles is equal to the sine of the first times the cosine of the second plus the cosine of the first times the sine of the second. So we say, okay, let this thing over here be true. We also know that alpha minus beta, alpha minus beta is the same thing as alpha plus a negative beta. So what I'm doing here is I'm saying that this guy right here, what I'm trying to figure out, so this is what we're trying to prove. We're trying to show that this thing's true. So we'll say what we know, and then we'll say, okay, so we know this is true. We also know this is true. Now I'm going to insert this into here for the left side. So then the sine of alpha plus a negative beta, well, let's write it. I want one more step in there. So then the sine of alpha minus beta is equal to the sine. So alpha minus beta is equal to alpha plus a negative beta. And we know that this guy can be expanded out using this formula. So this guy is equal to the sine of the first angle times the cosine of the second angle plus the cosine of the first angle times the sine of the second angle. So let's be clear what I used here. I used the fact that this equaled this, and so there's my substitution. And then I used the fact that this, well, I should underline the whole thing, the sine of this, which is the sine of the sum of two angles, I've got one angle here plus another angle here, is equal to this mess, which gives me this. So now I'm just going to write down what else we know. So we also know that the cosine of negative beta is equal to cosine beta, and the sine of negative beta is equal to the negative sine of beta by the even and odd properties of our trig functions, respectively. Let's write that out a little nicer. Therefore, sine alpha cosine negative beta plus cosine alpha sine negative beta is equal to the sine alpha cosine negative beta minus, because this negative right here is going to pop out front according to this guy up here. So, oops. Oh, actually, I should say two things before I do that. This negative is going to disappear. Why? Because of this. So this thing can be replaced with this thing right here. So these two can replace one another. So my first part here is going to be equal to, this is sine of alpha cosine beta. So that gets me, this is this, oops, and this negative, like I said, pops out front here. Why? Because of this. So I'm going to use this. This guy is going to get replaced with this guy. So this negative is going to just jump out front. So it's going to be minus now cosine alpha sine beta. Therefore, sine alpha minus sine beta is equal to sine alpha cosine beta minus cosine alpha sine beta. And this is how you see a proof written. So if you take a future, like a further math class, you'll see proofs written out just like this in words, and it's a logical argument how you go from what you're trying to prove and how you actually prove it.